I've got a great Valentine sign for you today using this piece of barnwood. So I'm going to use a Dollar Tree tile, some acrylic paints, and maybe a jute rope or some lace ribbon or something to tie it up at the end. I don't know yet. And we're going to definitely use a glue gun. So I have barnwood on hand. It's over 100 years old, these little pieces, which I love and are really cool. And you can purchase this sign at the end. But if you do not have barnwood, you can use these planks that you can get from Dollar Tree or Walmart. Has them pre-painted, and you can just paint them or just use raw wood. And first we're going to start with this piece of tile that I cut into half because this is all I'm going to need, and then the other part I'm going to save for another project. But I turned it over so I could take my Sharpie and draw out a heart. So I'm drawing a heart out right onto the board just to really give a good feel of what size I need. So I'm going to cut this out, and of course if you do it on the back, you're not going to have any marks on the front if your heart's not exactly how you wanted it when you cut it out. So make sure you do it on the back. It's just a good little tip there. And then I'm going to cut this out, and make sure you save that backing for the tile, because not the backing but the wrapping that it came in, because I'm going to use that for a paint catcher so I don't ruin my surface that I'm painting on. So I'm going to paint this heart red. This is a cardinal red, and it's an acrylic paint. You can see all of these details that I'll have in the blog post listed below. And then I'm just going to give this one good coat of paint. Make sure you get in all the grooves and all over. If you want to come back and do a second coat after this is dry, you can do that. So then I'm going to take my black paint after the red is completely dry. And this is important about making sure that this black gets in all the grooves, because you're going to use this as the vintagey antique look of the heart. And then once you have that done, while the black is wet, you're going to take a damp, like paper towel or something, and just wipe it off. So this way it's going to catch, the damp towel is going to catch all the black paint, but leave the black paint in the grooves and just give it the coolest vintage look where it looks like real tile. So once you get it to your liking, you can just go to the next step right after this. You really don't need to let it dry. Unless you want to, you can step away from it so you don't get the black, on your fingers when you go to the next step. But once you're done with this, I am just going to get my barnwood or your surface that you're backing, and then take a glue gun, and you're going to glue just the tips. So I just did the corners, and I only used a little bit because I want to make sure that it fit right. But this was enough because it's a light piece of tile. It's not too heavy. And then I'm going to take a piece of burlap, and I have a few ribbons on hand, I'm sure like you do, and I just took this burlap ribbon and cut it down because it was a little thick. So I just cut it down to about 1 inch and just measure it out enough to see what you want left over in the front. So I cut it to where they would just meet up, and I can tape it over because I was going to use this as a base and then add some more different varieties of ribbon. I really love this lace ribbon that you can get this time of year at Dollar Tree or at other hobby stores. So that's what I'm going to use second for this. And if you have some pieces on hand at home, you can kind of use what you have on hand like I did. And I just tied mine in a little knot, and then I thought it needed something extra. So I took one of my grandmother's old buttons I've used with many of my crafts before, and I love the gray, so I just glued that right on there, and another white one that I had, and I just did 2 of them, so it just adds a little uniqueness and also holds down that ribbon in the middle. And this was pretty simple and just made such an adorable Valentine. You can also do the optional jute on the back, the jute rope, and this jute rope I believe also came from Dollar Tree. And then you can either staple it down or just glue a little bit. So, or both. So if you're going to staple it, I would also glue it just to make sure you have a good strong hold on the back. And then you can hang it, you can set it up somewhere in your home, and it is so adorable. I love the chippy wood in the background. So you can kind of use what you have in hand, or maybe you can find some barnwood. And if you're interested in purchasing this, you can go to my website. The link will be below. Thanks for watching.